his 5 minutes of testimony. And you got it half right. You say go blue. I say go orange and blue.
Everybody's jealous. And because of that, in spite of the fact that University of Michigan never offered me a wrestling scholarship, and they shouldn't have, and no one should have ever paid for my name, image, and likeness, I got to say go blue. Go blue. And it's great to be part of national champions. Take that, Clemson. Okay. And Governor Baker, thank you for being here as well. You state in your testimony that college athletics provide a way for young adults to chase their athletic dreams while simultaneously achieving a college education. I couldn't agree more. You also mention in your testimony about preserving the Olympic pipeline. Now, according to the NCAA annual reporting, since 2015, the number of international student athletes competing in collegiate sports here in the United States has increased approximately 35% to 24,000 students in 2022. The concern that I hear from constituents is that the cost of college education continues to go up, and more American students are struggling to find a path to achieve a college education. I've heard the stories of athletically gifted students working hard and their families making huge sacrifices in hopes that they will have that opportunity that comes through competition in collegiate sports. Sadly, when they go through the recruiting processes, they discover that they're not just competing against other American qualified students, but the world. And so my question, Governor Baker, why do you think more international athletes are being recruited to our collegiate sports? And do you think this disadvantages Americans' competitive edge in the Olympics that you talked about?
So first of all, thank you for the question. And I guess I'd start by saying that one of the reasons why NIL is so important to student athletes generally is the rise of social media and the access people have to information. And I agree completely with what Commissioner Jackson said about what Mr. Griffin's been up to. He is literally the walk and talk and breathing example of what NIL was supposed to be, and in many cases can be and still is. I think part of the answer to your question, Congressman, comes back to my opening remarks when I said that college sports is uniquely American and one of the most powerful human potential development programs anywhere in the world. Other people figure that out. And part of the reason why we've seen a growth in international student athletes is A, the world got smaller because of all the issues associated with access to information and everything else, and B, there is nothing like this anywhere else in the world. And if you're in most other parts of the world, the idea that you could get a world-class education and have a chance to master your athletic craft at the same time, it's just very hard to find that. And I think the...
I get that. I get that. But I also think about the American student who wants a pathway to the Olympics as well. Yep. And you have a situation where, for instance, Michael Phelps, one of his records was broken by a French swimmer who's being trained at Arizona State University. And that has impacts down the line.
Yeah, let me just offer two thoughts on that. One is the 18-year-old population in this country has been declining since 2010 and is expected to continue to decline as far into the future as people calculate this. So the presence of more international student athletes in this country and more international students generally doesn't necessarily mean that they're, quote, competing for slots with existing American students, because we have far fewer American students today than we had 15 years ago, and we're going to have far fewer 15 years from now, just because of the decline in that population. And that means that for many schools, the opportunity to include international students as part and student athletes as part of their as part of their student body actually makes it possible for them to continue to pay their bills and operate. The one other thing I would just say is I think the $4 billion that schools provide in scholarships, which we never talk about, is an enormous piece of the benefit that schools bring and that you make tax exempt. And I think in some ways, those resources are there to serve Americans and do. And in some cases,
And I think that's a
added-
key concern, to continue to serve Americans.
Yeah.
My time has expired, but we look forward to talking about this more in the future,
part of
because
what
I
I'm-
think it impacts in
Yeah,
many
I
ways.
would love to talk more because I actually think at the end of the day, given the drop of our own population, it actually makes it possible for schools to continue to do stuff they might not be able to do without international students. But we should talk about it. I look forward to that.
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.